Hello, and welcome to another RiftGuides WildRift video. Today we are going to take a look at the top Evelynn player on the Chinese server. And before we hop into the video, let's briefly talk about the build visible in the screen right now. So first, he as a player likes to go for crown. I assume that he goes for boots. We just assume here. He goes for boots first and then for crown. So why are people going crown first on Evelynn? What is the possible item and why would you do this? Crown as an item, generally speaking, allows you to go for plays which you normally should never be able to go for. It allows you to go for it more frequently without any risk involved, but also providing you with decent damage numbers. Proto Belt is a great tool to proc sudden impact early on, to then even get closer and even proc crown early from enemy champions. Lichbane as well, depending on how good you play, allows you to just deal so much more damage in an extended period of time. Then afterwards, it's obviously Rabadon's death cap because you want more AP, and Rabadon's provides you the most AP. With all that done, we now talk about more flat pan. These two items here. Infinity Orb and Awakened Soulstealer both grant you 15 pan and 7% pan. Not only this, but the items also provide you with something very key towards Evelynn, and that's movement speed. The same also applies to Lichbane. So Lichbane is 5%, Infinity Orb is 5%, so you have 10% gifted to you, just for free. And another good benefit of Awakened Soulstealer is that it lowers your cooldowns, and Evelynn usually is an ult-centric champion that really needs ult to make insane plays happen. Like in the late game, we've seen Evelynn just flash in Proto Belt, full combo somebody with ult, and the person is dead. And with this, plus the flat pen the item has inherently, it's a very good combination of things. Alternatively, if you're in a game where you don't need crown early on, you can, from my perspective, debate Lichbane early, and then after your Lichbane, obviously you have boots already, like normal magic boots, you can look into Magi's Soulstealer. With Lichbane, you have the most powerful early game power spike available by just giving you the highest damage potential, because you have a Lichbane proc every 1.5 seconds with approximately, I think, 150 AP with Lichbane combined with boots, which then is 75% of your base AD plus 50% of your AP, which is quite a nice bonus damage if you ask me. Now there are a few things we need to talk about when it comes to the red tree. But first, let's talk about First Strike. First Strike, great rune, allows you to deal more damage and gain more gold. However, Electrocute is more consistent, but if you're smurfing and generally you're very good with your champion, I believe First Strike is one of the best choices you can make, but Electrocute is not necessarily wrong. The other rune we need to talk about is Sudden Impact. It's the most broken rune of your champion. Nothing comes really close. The reason is, your third ability is a movement spell. Your third ability, if it's empowered, yeets you towards an enemy and therefore procs this. With this in mind, it then grants you 13 pen on physical and magical damage, which is quite a lot of pen if you ask me. And especially if you go for flat pen later on, this one comes together quite nicely and allows you to deal very high damage numbers to other champions. However, there's one thing I need to talk about that is often kind of an issue. These two runes here, Mark for the Weak and Coup de Grace. Both of these runes are usually heavily underperforming. Whenever you see into look into the rune tab, you see that these runes barely did anything. So for example, as an Evelynn, do you really struggle executing people once they're below a certain threshold? The answer is usually no, so why Coup de Grace and why not, for example, just the generic option Giant Slayer? Because usually you'd struggle with high HP targets way more than you struggle with low HP targets, where then the Coup de Grace could be helpful, but at that point you still kill them anyway. And it's just easier for Giant Slayer to deal more damage and just help you to kill tankier targets. Mark of the Weak, on the other hand, helps you execute one target, but the issue with this ability or this rune is the damage it just doesn't really exist. You see, it does 300 to 400 damage per game, and that's kind of weird. Last time I had a game with Fizz, and Fizz has really high damage numbers if you hit all abilities, and I was really just farming them. And this ability still, this rune still had no damage. So what you can do in that regard, in jungle you can take Empowered Attack. Empowered Attack will help you clear the jungle faster, very nice benefit, and on top, not only this, usually when you get into fight situations, you have one Empowered Auto Attack, which then roughly deals the same damage as Mark of the Weak until we get into the really late stages of the game where the percentage is high enough and your damage is high enough to actually make the difference. Because think about this. If Mark of the Week is 3% of your damage added, and you deal 100 damage, that's 3 damage. And if you deal 3 instances of 100 damage, that's 9 damage. And Powered Attack at this point is flat like 35 in the early game, where your spell doesn't even deal 100. So that's something you really have to think about. And alternatively, for the Eyeball Collector, you can think about, if you really want to Ingenious Hunter, if this is a problem, if you need more item haste. But usually it's not that much of a problem, and just the AP gain from Eyeball Collector is really neat. So now let's get into the video. So what we see here is he's trying to double camp to just efficiently clear. He messes it up slightly, but as you see, even if you mess it up, you don't really lose anything because he can just releash the Gromp and then make sure his blue buff doesn't reset by just slightly adjusting his position. Even if the blue buff does what he does, now he can still releash the blue buff and just do it again. Like, he lost HP, but he didn't lose time. And that's something very important, because if you get this done perfectly with the sweet spot, which we've shown in a video, in a short, you can accelerate your jungle clear by so much. And here we just see typical Evelynn jungle clearing, very important to get this right. And we see he keeps the smites until very late to walk away, keeps his first ability so he can leash the chickens. Let's see if he does the red buff, leash. Yes, he does. Like, this is very important, and he finds the sweet spot. He does it even better than me in like a tutorial I did on red buff. And it's just very important to just leash it down and just be very efficient. Like, you see, he's saving so much time. And it's so important on this kind of champion to just get the tempo going. Like, he's doing it wonderfully. Like, even as he messed up the like early double camp, he is still so fast. Like, his bot lane is just barely level 3. And now he'll be at Scuttlecrab at 135, 136, moves up, can go into the jungle, can force the enemy flash or ghost because he just puts the charm on the enemy champion. He gets the free trap and invades now. His bot lane has priority, he's in a position, he has smite available, he can just do whatever he wants. Gets this for free, is level 5, and the enemy bot lane is level 2. Do you see this? Just efficient jungle clearing, using the priority of his laners, and then just executing them for a mistake they did. Like, it wasn't even a scuttle fight, it was an invade fight. He won because he simply chose to efficiently clear his jungle. It is impossible to do this if you don't clear like this. And keep in mind, you can even be a tiny bit faster. Well, tiny bit, like up to like, I think 10 seconds. So yeah, now he has a major spike. He has boots. That is crazy. And he buys double M-Tomb for the highest AP possible, which lets me assume that in this game, as shown earlier, he goes for the crown first item. The Aatrox gets a kill, the bot lane overextended, they, for whatever reason, they didn't recall after this play apparently, or they had some funny accident. I don't know. Apparently they did recall, but they still had a funny accident, even though they haven't seen the Aatrox, which they need to, because if the Aatrox, let's break it down for a second, okay. We took this here as an Evelynn. We didn't see the Aatrox, we obviously had this cleared, so the Aatrox can't be here, we assume he was here. If the Aatrox was on similar speed, he would probably be on Wolves as we got blue, which means he must be somewhere down there. And if he's somewhere down there, then obviously we shouldn't walk up, because we just made a very good play earlier, because we've already won. We should allow the Evelynn to clear her camps again, and then move up with the assistance of the Evelynn and go for another play. Like, before they even died, there was like more of a 40 to 50 second timer where the Evelynn doesn't really want to go for a play unless it's free. And she just takes free things, right? Nothing unusual here, getting all the camps back. Not much can be done right now unless enemies overextend somewhere, so efficiency needs to be like looked for. Like, you just want to full clear. You just want to clear as fast as possible, look for options on the map, maybe get the blue buff after this, and then look for a top lane gank, because Renekton is trading heavily, right? Like, she's seeing this for a second, thinks about this, okay, decides to do something else again. Leashes the blue buff away, so the scrying op doesn't spot it, so she will remain unseen. So now, because we saw Aatrox mid lane, he goes mid lane to shadow the Jace, just in case something happens. And he has ult, so if the Ahri gets too close, she can just one-tap the Ahri. The Ahri walks forward, gets too close, gets comboed, and absolutely gets obliterated by the combo and the combo of the Jace. Now he goes instantly back into the jungle to farm again. being very efficient with time, not wasting any second, just thinking about things, being decisive about the things, and then going with it. Like, even though right now there's nothing to do, he has the time on the enemy jungle buff, but I don't believe he will go for it simply because he doesn't have ultimate and it's way too risky. His Jace is getting caught in a rotation, and will it be enough? Like, I don't think he can do anything, simply because he doesn't have ult and he can't really reach. Like, he tried to even walk there without knowing what's up, which I believe is technically, like, in technicality, it's a mistake, because you should never walk unless you know, because you could be wasting time, and you have all the ability to just check. He actually goes for the Magi's and has components for the Ether Wisp. So he just had a buy where he could not fully complete the Lich Bane, so he went for everything he could buy at the same time, and then he goes back onto the map with his ultimate coming up. So this is a very opportunistic buy. It's the highest gold he could spend, and he was just hoping to get fed off this. But the issue is, Magi's in itself as a purchase doesn't make you stronger. Magi's needs to stack up, and if you compare first items, the fully completed Magi's against the Lich Bane needs more than 11 stacks to be just equal in AP, not even the on-hit effect. That is something you have to keep in mind. So if you buy Magi Soul Stealer, you need to understand that you're not strong. Just because you have Soul Stealer, you need to get it stacked, which is the big problem. And here makes the choice for Herald. The enemy is collapsing on them because they know that dragons are worthless, because they're smart. But I don't believe the enemy can secure this because he has the Evelynn Old Smite. Outsmiting this in the past, impossible. And now he just has to think smart about the situation. Like, he wants to play it smart, using his teammates as dummies, or basically body bags, to then get stacks. Like, he's using his teammates to grant him vision, to soak enemy cooldowns, and then get everything for free. He also realizes he can just instantly walk to the dragon through mid lane and not wasting any time because all the enemies are dead. So let's quickly go back for a second to explain you a concept. Okay. So we see 2, we see 1, 2 are dead. Normally if you think, what is the safest way and fastest way to get here? Many people would be like, yeah, I can just walk here, right? That's safe. Well, what's the difference between walking here and walking through towers? Because nobody can be there in time, so it's equally as safe. However, walking through this here allows you to instantly place Herald from behind, so you don't have to worry about minion wave dealing with it, and you get there faster. And maybe on your way you can sneak a jungle camp, maybe they're trolling, maybe you can get a free kill, like, you never know. But time efficiency wise, you're not wasting any seconds. Plus you have depots in the enemy jungle, so if the enemy jungle respawned and went to his red buff, which is respawning in 8 seconds, you would also know. But he decides to go for the dragon, as expected. Will probably get the dragon for free because I don't believe the enemy can do anything to contest this. And like, okay, they're coming to contest this, but I don't think they'll secure this. Like, Aatrox dropped every single camp to go for the dragon to then lose the dragon, and then he just flashes away. So the real question is, why did he do this? Why did the enemy Aatrox do this? The isolated dragon is not really worth that much, and it's just not doing anything for you. And now he knows that the enemy is in the bot side. Like, he knows for a fact, like, the Aatrox was low, so he goes for the invade and catches him off guard. Like, he has Yuumi on him, so he's not forced to base at any point in time. They constantly invade now because they're stronger, and the enemy can't defend themselves. Like, this Magi's is now at 14 stacks. He has a major gold spike in base, and he's just beyond fed. Like, if the Ahri doesn't have ult, it's very likely that she just dies here, and even if she, like, has ult, she just dies regardless. Too much damage, too fed, you just disappear. So now the question is, does he recall for tempo? Okay. Quickly explaining this to you. So how many of you would not recall with this amount of gold when all their camps are up? Like, right now, his entire lead is in his inventory. Is in his gold pocket, right? He didn't spend it yet. So he's technically not ahead. We know Aatrox has this available, and he's respawning. We know Aatrox just cleared this. So, what can happen on the map? Aatrox will walk here. Okay, if Aatrox walks here, that's very interesting to do with him. We still can just recall, and if he shows down here, we can maybe play for an invade here and kill him, disregarding our own camps because we can take enemy camps. But here he recalls for tempo to spend his gold, to be stronger, and then if nothing is happening on the map, he just fully clears again, everything is free, or goes for picks depending on the lane assignments. So for example, if he sees that there's a cannon wave coming into the Renekton and there's a potential dive option with all the vision set up here, he can disregard his bottom side of the map and just play around his top side of the map and go for this here. Because it's very unlikely for him to reach this, and it's just easier to take a tier 1 tower out. Xayah is having a blast, literally going inside the enemy base. For some reason, it's not really worth it. We see the enemy Aatrox on said ward we talked about, and it looks like he's going for his top half of the map, going for his topside camps maybe, or just instantly playing for topside control. Like, he sees that the Renekton is doing something stupid, and he's just walking there. He has the Magi's movement speed, he has the Yuumi, the Renekton should just die, and he's just dead. Now something is happening on the map again. I don't really know if it's efficient to clear this wall, but it's just what it is. Zombie ward was proc. I guess he runs zombie ward and we got lied to. And yeah, nothing is happening right now. Nothing to be expected. Fully clearing jungle again, I assume. And then he goes for another play after clearing jungle. It wouldn't surprise me, honestly, if he just clears his bot side camps, looks for a potential pick on the other side of the map, and if nothing is possible, like the Jhin down there, he just recalls for Crown and forces a play. Because with Crown, he can just force whatever he wants, and his flash comes up in 33 seconds. So he has like one flash cooldown left before the Nashor spawns. And here you see, like, the Jhin, he just doesn't care anymore, 80 carry life, he walks up, gets blasted, provides the 23rd stack of Magi's to the Eve. Now the question is, will he play for an invade on the enemy bot side, or will he go for a top-centric play? Like, he has the timer on the enemy jungle camp, he has spotted the Aatrox for a brief second on the minimap. He was visible down here for a brief second, which means this person is now 100% dead. Yeah, and now we see him appear there, which means Renekton is dead. Renekton is dead, and nothing can happen to prevent this unless he just walks away. And yeah, Renekton walks up, for whatever reason, gets absolutely blasted. He has the crown, nothing can happen, and it is what it is. So Riven will be left alone to get the tower, and we just go for a mid lane play. We still have ultimate, we still have flash, so we can't really die. The Ahri has the crown of the Shattered Queen, so the Yuumi needs to proc it. We just one-shot the Soraka, and it's over again. And now we'll just kill Jhin again, because he can't get away. We have Magi's movement speed, we have a Yuumi, and he cannot get away. His only hope is to recall fast enough, but we'll be told where he is if we walk into brushes. Apparently he recalled fast enough, so he survived. Good for him. But something that you need to know about stealth champions in general, be it Twitch or Akshan, you see this range here. If you walk closer to brushes, and you see the exclamation mark over you, you're visible, quickly turn away. You don't have to walk in there to know. So stealth champions have an inherent advantage over non-stealth champions when it comes to face-checking environment, because you simply know earlier if somebody sees you. Just makes life easier to not get caught off guard. We knew this was all taken because Aatrox shot earlier down here. Now we know Aatrox has shown up there and his red buff is respawning. Maybe we can get a free pick here. We kill the... No, we get her ultimate. He greets for this with a flash, actually. Now he's behind enemy lines. He needs to instantly ult so he doesn't get locked down. Okay, let's talk about decision making here. So, the greet on the Ahri, I don't think is relevant to get that kill. There's nothing it gains you, it's just another kill. Like, you don't gain anything. But the downside of attempting this now is, the Renekton comes here, the Renekton dashes onto you, so the next thing he will do is stun you. If he stuns you, then the Jhin will W you and you'll be rooted and crowd controlled for ages. If that happens, you'll get one-tapped by the damage. And if you get one-tapped by the damage, you lose 10 stacks and give away a massive shutdown. So, contrary to most other players, he instantly realizes this and presses ult to just get away. Et voila, here we are, and he walks away. If Crown was still up, he would be fine. But now he basically has to wait a few seconds until Crown's up again, then he can walk up again and get them killed. Et voila, and the person is dead. Crown will also come up again once he's out of combat for a few seconds. And now a kill on the enemy jungle or anyone would technically lead to an easier objective. There's a massive wave on the other side of the map, and for some reason his team is fighting in the jungle for no reason. Like right now, on this screen, there's more gold here than there's ever to get here, because to get the same amount of gold up here compared to here, you need to kill multiple people here. Now, if you just look at the fight in general, how likely is it that you're gonna kill multiple people? Especially if your resources were this depleted early on. And this is happening very soon. So technically speaking, if we just go back a little bit in time, like here, we see this happening. So, 29 seconds this, we are low HP, we pillage the enemy jungle, everything is free, everything is good. Somebody needs to get this. This is too much gold. Also, this pushes into our tower, we don't want this. We want this objective in 29 seconds, so we need somebody up here to push this. At least this next incoming wave, this one, and this one then combined, because this is the old wave, this is the new wave. And then this wave naturally pushes into this, losing the enemy resources because this will damage the tower and die to the tower. And if somebody is sent there, we'll get an easy objective. So if we were level-headed enough as a team, not as an Evelynn or a Yuumi here, but just as a team, be it an AD carry, which is usually like his love of the game, just getting more farm, this would be so much more helpful than a random skirmish. You see, a random fight happening, his team is running it down, he's trying to salvage the play, he does some juicy damage, but now it's kind of rough. Luckily he has a Yuumi, because if he didn't have a Yuumi, this is impossible. God bless the Yumster. With Crown up again, he can just do this dragon without any fear, because Aatrox also has to recall, he gets this for free, but still, like the entire risk taken by his team is completely pointless. There was nothing that was to be achieved, like nothing. Like even if they kill all, they still get the same results. They still get the dragon for free, they still get the waves, everything. Now, if it's 1 minute later, like 12 minutes, killing the enemy serves another purpose, because then you can just simply Nasher. Like Nasher on spawn is comically weak. Like you can just one-tap it. So right now, if the enemy dies in the next 10 seconds, 15 seconds, it is the freest Nasher on the planet, and the enemy is using vital cooldowns. And now he has Rabadon. He accidentally cancelled recall, which should not be that much of a problem. He now has Rabadon on 30 stacks of Magi, so he is probably like 800 AP or something, I don't know. So whatever he does, he one-taps people, and don't forget he has a Yuumi. So yeah, he wants to play for river control. His teammate already does it with the Riven, I assume, because she's moving on the minimap, and therefore she's taking care of the Scuttle Crab. And now if the Yuumi attaches to the Evelynn, they won't have anything. Like the moment they touch something, it dies. Like even Aatrox just disappears. Like I really hope we see it, because it just shows how unbelievably sick this champion is. She can do whatever she wants. Goodbye. Not even ultimate, not even W, nothing, just QE, EQ, just goodbye. And he's just zooming around the map. They are keeping, like his teammates keep the Ahri busy, and the Ahri just walks into his arms. Goodbye. One-tapped. And even now, which is kind of confusing, he doesn't even care about the wave, even though I believe just quickly taking care of the wave, so it's a slow push into the enemy towers, so it needs to be taken care of, is more beneficial. He just looks for more picks, he just wants to remove the control boards on the map, even though this side is not the side of the map we want to play around. Like generally speaking, quick breakdown again, if you have like this map, and this objective is available and this one isn't, and your team has a genuine shot of actually doing Nasher, then map control is relevant on this side of the map, map part 1. Map part 2 will usually be ignored because it doesn't matter. Because whatever happens, primarily is about this here. And the only reason you would go for deeper vision into the enemy jungle like this here would be to allow your split pusher, be it Jace or be it Riven, to go deeper here to know early enough if somebody's coming, which then allows you to take this. So these wards here, right now, they are split pushing wards that allow somebody to take care of this, but if nobody plays around this, they're completely worthless. Unless you magically see the Aatrox walk through this ward, down here into the river, which then allows you to just sneak Nash anyway. But so far, very clean outside of the early double cap mess up and the attempt on the Ahri. But yeah, like quick pause here. Like if for you who didn't see the beginning of the video, this is apparently his real build. So he rushed this. This was the first item. After this, he went for 2 amplifying tombs, 2 of these. After this, he completed this and went for components of this. So what did he do? He did this, then he did this, then he did this, then he did this, this. So keep that in mind. Now, somebody really needs to take care of sideways instead of playing team deathmatch, as you see on your screen right now. Nothing of these plays serve any purpose, and if the enemy gets he just gets one tapped. And use his ult to get closer to the enemy player, and now it's just a free Nash. Maybe he collects a Renekton kill because he's fast enough, which is smart. Like the Renekton is just a free kill pickup because he can't get away. Goodbye, Renekton. And now we just go for a free Nasher. Like even if it's a 30-30 Nasher, this one is going to melt unless they make him tank. Because another secret many people don't know about, if the Nasher hits you, you're applied with a debuff. Not the one you're seeing right now, but this one. Hold up. This one. And this is the most dangerous buff, because it reduces your damage by 50% to anything, including enemy champions. So, if you play this game and you do Baron Nashor, please do not make your carries tank, because if the enemy comes around the corner and you are forced to turn, you will deal 50% less damage for this duration. And that can be a game-losing thing, even though you're like 10,000, 15,000 gold ahead, but dealing just 50% damage is a big issue. Now he even has Infinity Orb. He is full build right now. He is ready to rumble. He is full build. He has a Yuumi. Like, he has easily 1000 AP. Easily. And anything he touches completely explodes. Like, he has Flash. He has Proto Belt. Like, there's no way he loses unless he trolls. Like, he just looks at a target. It dies. Wherever it is. It doesn't matter. Like, Aatrox is dead. Just take a good look how long it takes to kill him. Goodbye. You're dead. Not even blinking, by the way. He's just dead. Now look at the next target that just walks up anywhere. He can just flash into the mid lane right now and kill them all. Maybe he does it, maybe he doesn't. I'm curious, will he do it? Because he can. If they stack up, disappeared, goodbye. Even ults behind them to stop them from running through, and then he just runs them down. He just kills them all. Like, Evelynn is such a disturbing champion. And I'm really curious why not more people play it, because it's so goddamn broken. And people always grieve against it. And you saw, like, his teammates were not playing the best. Like, the best thing, like, the truly best thing they did the entire game was allowing him to invade. That was the best thing they did for him. And the other good thing they did was Yuumi accepting that the Xayah is not valuable, and she can just sit on him. And then Evelynn just 1v9s everything for free. And now they get the Dragon Soul, not really relevant, doesn't change anything. And yeah, he'll still continue to one-tap people. Like, even if you build the fences, you still die. The only way to survive is have a crown yourself. If you don't have a crown, you die. You just disappear. Like, he will just walk up somewhere, wait for somebody, and kill them. Luckily for the enemy, they spotted him with the lovely plant. But yeah, back to base, nothing really to buy, nothing to exchange. He also has a Yuumi, and therefore he doesn't need any utility item that grants him some sustain. But yeah, quickly picking up the blue buff for more haste and providing his Yuumi with the blue buff as well. And now he's on the hunt again. He doesn't have flash, so ending the game is a little bit harder, and he basically has to get behind the enemy. But he has Proto Belt, so whatever gets close just dies. Like, he just doesn't care, he just walks up. The Yuumi presses ult, procs the crown if I'm not mistaken. The enemy is stuck trying to defend a tier 2 tower for whatever reason. Ahri walks up, gets nearly one-tapped. And the minion wave mid lane is slowly finishing the game. Like, theoretically speaking, he could have just, let me go back in time. Like, this is happening. Like, you see the people are split apart. This is happening right now, and he could walk mid lane. He could walk mid lane, his teammates would kill the Renekton and would be forced to rotate. because then otherwise he would finish the game one-tapping the Nexus. Ahri feels forced to do something. She really can't. And yeah, he just walks back to mid lane now. There's not much the enemy can do. Like, whatever they do, they just lose. They really can't win. Like, Evelynn is too overbearing at this point of the game. And I think he wants to, he wants them to go base because they can't really do anything right now with the wave setup. And he just wants to be patient. They can also just freely take Baron and Elder, but the Ahri walks up for no reason. Did she have Crown, by the way? No, Crown is an up. Crown is an up equals you just die instantly. Like, just take a look. She just disappears from this plane. She's just gone. Just absolutely obliterated. And with Ahri dead, the enemy's wave clear is severely weakened, with only Jhin realistically being able to do something. And they can go for this tower. If this pick doesn't happen, I believe they have to go for another Baron buff, unless they can force it like a very heavy play. But even now, with the Nexus being at this point, they can't really end unless they somehow grieve again. Like, right now, this is what I dislike the most. It's just random fights because people think or believe they can just end when the easier play is just on the map. Because let's just rewind a second, okay? Let's just break it down. So, let's just imagine the Ahri pick doesn't happen. Okay. So, Ahri pick doesn't happen. They clear the wave here. Nothing is available, right? We're just dancing. So this spawns in 18 seconds. Wave is here. They're all dancing here. The enemy cannot dare to contest the Baron. We have vision control. So we all just go here, take this vision control here. We can choose to walk in this wave here. We can just brute force with Baron up here because they can't clear minion wave. Alternatively, what we can also do is we can send somebody down here. We can also just play for Elder. Like, there's so many options that require the enemy to leave base, and if they leave base, they just die because it's easier to kill them outside of the base. Like, there's so many more options. But generally speaking, there's no point of trying this because if it doesn't work out, you might die, and if your team dies, they get Nashor and they might turn the game. And if they come to Nashor, they can't really win because they have to walk through vision, and they can't really secure Nashor because you Evelynn did like 50k damage to it. So yeah, let's say this play has, I don't know, like random number, 20% chance of failure compared to a play that requires you to literally disconnect. Let's just give it an arbitrary number of 1%. So if you do 100 times this play compared to 100 times this play, you would obviously see way more success with this. Will this happen in solo queue all the time? No. What can you do about this? You can suggest your team what to do, you can ping them, etc, etc. But just generally speaking. Goodbye, Ahri. Desire dies for fun. Renekton is going close. Is there a world in which we can't get Nashor right now? I don't think so. We still just get it for free if they choose to do something. But the team is trying to lose like the hardest. They're trying so hard to lose, but now we get into the backline, we just one-tap somebody. Resetting the fight. The Jhin is relatively strong. It's still 17, like nearly 18 minutes into the game, and he still hurts. So he wants to play it slow. And he just basically uses his team as meat shields and plays around that one. But his entire team but the Yuumi died. For what purpose? And you see, like, if she didn't have Crown, she just instantly dies. It's crazy. Like, she tries her hardest to get close. He just goes for a reset here, and now he can just do Elder and just dance around Elder. Like, if he just walks to Elder and sits there, it's good enough. Because the enemy can't really contest anything, but he just nearly one-taps the Aatrox. And the Aatrox has more, as you just saw. It's just crazy how much damage this champion does, especially with the Yuumi. But yeah, in solo queue, objectives before Nashor and Elder are usually not that important, with the exception of first Herald, just to accelerate yourself. And Dragon Soul in the very, very least situations, because Dragon Souls can't magically fix your game. Players are not good enough to utilize souls to an extent, and like their balancing is not strong enough for the point of the game where you get them. Soraka dies for fun. He's looking for a pick in the enemy jungle. He has flash and he is probably available. He's spotted on a control ward though. So his team Like, they spot Aatrox in Narnia's Southwest. Jesus, I don't know what he's even trying to do there. I think he just, well, he was on a vacation. While his AD carry is on a mission as well. Like, you see, it's not like they're gods or something. You see, like, his teammates are trolling plenty. And he's still able to win. And again, the Ahri nearly dies instantly beautifully. Zhonya is his third ability, and now the Renekton is just a goner. Well played, crazy damage, very interesting to see. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and come back for more RiftGuides content. See you.